pretty close to heaven now. Moments of euphoria. I am never coming down. Oh my, this time I'ma keep it going, stay fucked up, feel so good. High on my, the sky underneath my feet, it never looked so good. Oh my, that's right, I'ma keep it up, stay fucked up, that's my mood. Oh my euphoria.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tasman Racing League Oval Series. We return for Season 1 continuation after the Legacy Round at Bathurst, where we saw these incredible truck cars navigate through corners. Corners? What are corners? We don't do corners here, but we did for that round, and it was a lot of fun. We even got to pull a little bit of a hat over the rest of the competition, and we pulled out a safety car at the right time or the wrong time, depending on who you talk to. We are back today, of course, for round 6. We will talk about that. We'll be talking about that for some time, John. We're back here for round 6, Auto Club, and of course it is myself, George Cooke, and John Wright joining me back in the commentary box today with TrackSpotTV, bringing you the broadcasting. Great to have you in here in chat. Welcome. And John, welcome to a track that is bumpy, that has some interesting history, that sits, I believe, literally a couple of meters lower than another track that was demolished near it. It is time for Auto Club.
It is indeed. Good evening, race fans. Good evening, George. Good evening, I suppose, to Lewis Bahagia. Let's hope he doesn't get on the podium this week. After Bathurst last week, I tried to throw a spanner in the works, and all I did was shoot myself in the foot. Let's see if the drivers can avoid shooting themselves in the foot tonight, though. One of the youngest circuits used on the calendar. 1997, the same year as my beloved daughter was born. And of course, the road course was added 2001. This is a rebuild of a track, and what a track it is. Tyres, fuel, nerves, all going to get shredded and run through today. And whoever makes it onto the podium, it's either going to be well-deserved or exceptionally lucky, one of the two. After turning right so many times last week, this should actually be a bit of a doddle for the drivers.
I was just thinking about the steering configuration as well. It'll have to reset that in the configuration for Bathurst. That's got to be reset back to 0 for this one, so they can actually drive to the left and in a straight line. It's going to be great fun out there today. Yeah, built exactly 1 foot lower than the Ontario Motor Speedway. Intentionally lowered to reduce the crosswinds compared to the OMS, the Ontario Motor Speedway, which stood just 2 miles east of it before being demolished in 1980. And it's an asymmetrical track, so it looks even out there. It's not. And you can just tell on the track map. Turns 1, 2, and 3, 4 have a subtly different banking transition. Causes some serious setup headaches in the early years, but officially 14 degrees in the turn. So that's got to come into consideration here today, John. The cars were bouncing around in practice. It looked crazy.
Yes, indeed, they were. They were bouncing about like Bathurst. They're going to be bouncing about like crazy here as well. It's not one of the smoothest speedways that the drivers have got. Of course, it's a fairly short lap as well. So it's going to be an interesting one. They've got those big straights and that little kink just over the start-finish straight. It's almost like a weird sort of jelly bean shape. It's like a squished jelly bean shape, this track, I think it's safe to say. So yeah, not many slipstream opportunities. And across that start-finish line, George, they don't have as much leeway as they have some of the other courses. If they dip below the apron, there's grass there. So you really, 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 really have to watch what you're doing. And let's not even get started on that pit entry. Oof, that... Yeah, you thought Bathurst was bad with the double chicane. This thing looks like roadworks have gone off and they've not completed them at all.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of people already spin on the entry and some spectacular accidents there. And if Nicholas Heath wants to pull off one of his amazing saves today, he's going to have to make sure he doesn't do it on the grass. That's going to be key for him today. On the right-hand side, the season schedule, we are now at round 6, so 5th of November here at Auto Club. Next week it'll be Talladega, then Martinsville, Michigan, and Miami. Miami, I should say. I started calling it Miami for some reason, and I don't know why. It's just happened. My subconscious is doing something weird. Miami will be the season finale at the end. Let's take a little look at the standings as they were at the end of round 5, technically before our legacy round at Bathurst. Lucas Blake in the lead for Right Rear Racing on 315 points, followed by Kelvin Clark for 19 Racing on 242, and then it's equal 239 points apiece for Lewis Buhaja and Jason Hutchins. What a race he had a couple of races ago and got himself onto the podium. Huge haul of points on that one. He's brought himself in contention for potentially the championship win here. In 5th, it is Tom Williams, followed by Damien Coates, separated by 4 points. And then back there in 7th, it is Nicholas Heath, followed by Wade Georgeson, on a run of not so great form after a great opening to the season. And Jack Kelly-Reid, he has brought himself back up, so to speak. He's a mixed results kind of man. A fan that John is a fan of him. I'm a fan of him. I think we're all a fan of him. He certainly interviews very, very well. Matthew Searle there in 10th position, one of our Road Series drivers coming into the series. Ryan Llewellyn, Jared Hutchins in P11, P12. Daniel Hutchins in 13th. Adam Van Dongen debuted a few races ago. He's back today, I believe. I will double check that at the moment. He's not currently on the server. Nick Burling, and then Jordan T. Nelson, Boone Blake, Cliff Potter, Dylan DeBotto. Boone Blake is theorized to have some really good pace here today, so it's definitely one to keep an eye on for sure. We do have Jared Williams returning to the grid as well, which is great. New drivers, Bradley Austin and Rob Tilley, also joining us. Welcome into chat, though, those who are in there. Lusek, Minnie Sanders, great to have you in there. And look, Lusek, he loves it. Miami. It's going to have to be Miami from now on, John.
Yes, it's going to have to be Miami from now on.
I'll just stay out of the United States. I'll just
Yeah.
stay out of the United States, I think, yeah.
I don't think you're going to get a choice, George. I don't think you've got a choice. The Border Patrol will be stopping you coming in, and we will be doing a sanity check, Miami. I'm trying to think of how we can brutalise Bathurst. In fact, yeah, just saying Bathurst, that's it. It's Bathurst. Yeah, whichever we would say.
Please, let's not go back to Bathurst anytime soon, please, okay?
No. But yeah, Miami. It doesn't quite have the same ring for the Will Smith song, does it? Welcome to Miami.
No, quite. Like he's talking about somewhere in Japan, actually. Oh dear, dear. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're a couple of minutes away from lone qualifying. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat to myself or John. John, from a driver's perspective, we'll take a few breaths, but from a driver's perspective, what are we expecting out there on track today? Because the bumps, I think, are going to cause some serious issues for the drivers.
Yeah, it's absolute intensity. If you're going to go side by side around this course, you have to be fully committed, and you need to be gripping that steering wheel like your life depends on it, because quite frankly, it does. The drivers will be waiting on yellow flags. We'll see how many cars we've actually got out on track, and we'll see. I think we'll get a good track of how we're going to be doing for safety cars. Maybe as soon as about 10 or 12 laps in. Might even be sooner than that, because as George has said, this track is exceptionally bumpy. You carry a lot of pace out of turn number 2. You get yourself into a fair bit of slipstream, and so into turns 3 and 4, it really is going to be all about knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, which is just such a vital part of oval racing. You really have got to pick your moves, and around here you really have got to pick your moves, because the start finish straight itself is pretty much fully banked, unlike some courses. It's got a decent bit of banking for your start-finish curve there, and that grass on the inside. So completely unforgiving. You've got a nice big bit of runoff just past the start-finish line, but that very quickly disappears when we're getting into turn number 1. So it really is, it's very much a strategy-based course, this one, George, and those bumps, you just can't strategize for them, so it really does give the drivers a massive headache when it comes to making decisions on where they're going to make moves, and yeah, how they're going to keep up with the pack as well. You don't want to be getting caught out and left behind around here, or it's going to be a very long and lonely race.
Yes, indeed. Fantastic. We have our grid results. Here you go. Matthew Searle has managed to make the top spot. That is a surprise, but a great one for Matthew Searle. He'll be joined on the top spot there with Jack Kelly-Reid by 0.025. There's nothing in it. Lucas Blake only another few hundredths of a second back. And it's Wade Georgeson making his way up. Bradley Austin on debut. Asked in chat whether the steering wheel is supposed to be on an angle. I think he's got that figured out now because he's put himself into 5th position. Boone Blake, who showed the ultimate pace out there, he has found himself in 6th, followed by Ryan Llewellyn, and he'll be joined on the 4th row of the grid by Lewis Buhaja, Daniel Hutchins, and Jason Hutchins together on track. And it's Robert Hiley coming in for the first time into the series. He's been chatty with us in chat in the last few. I think he's got on the oval racing bug, let's put it that way. Jared Williams will round us out in P12, not setting a time. Okay, you're out there gridding. We'll see you out there on the track in a few moments' time. All right, well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on a track that is going to produce some good racing today. It won't be too long until we get this started. There you go. Currently still just in the final part of gridding. The car's lined up behind the safety car. You see all the engines actually getting started right now. A little spit of flame out the side. So this is that tricky pit lane entry and exit, John, that you were talking about before. Is it straight into bumps, or are we going to be seeing something else?
It is. It's straight into bumps, but it's a very severe left-hand turn to get in. As you can see, completely perpendicular with the back straight. But as you can see, just over the back of the cars there, that is a sharp turn on the way in. And as we've seen at Bathurst, these cars don't do back-end braking. The back-end likes to step out under any circumstance. There is no circumstance in which the rear tyres on these cars are particularly happy to be. Let's face it, the high-tech rear spoiler doing a lot of the work. So yeah, trying to put, and if there's other cars beside you as well, because something that a lot of people don't realise about NASCARs is the aerodynamics you get from slipstreaming. If the car behind moves just over to your rear right panel, that can cause aerodynamic instability. In the Cup cars, it's the left-hand side, and you can actually see in real life. I think MVG had himself a few issues with that to start with. Just you don't even need to touch another car. If you just move over, you can unsettle their aerodynamics, and that will certainly be the case for the trucks pulling into the pit lane, George. So they're going to have to be absolutely on the ball if they're coming in at high speed, and they've got more cars coming in. They'll all be hoping, of course, to be pitting under yellows, but that is not always the case. So yeah, the pit entrance is going to be fun, and the green flag is lofted, George. We're about to get started.
Here we go. It is the kickoff of round 6. 75 laps here. Green flag is now racing, and we've got the safety car. The erroneous safety car. It's not a safety car, do not fear. And we're away racing. Matthew Searle is already under a lot of pressure here from Jack Kelly-Reid. George Wadeson makes it 3 wide into the first corner. Got a Schrodinger's car happening a little bit there. Buhaja has made it up to 4th position already, up 5th now, in fact, because he's up into 3rd position in this race. So a great start off the line for him. He's going to tuck in behind Matthew Searle at the beginning of this race. And so he is in a really, really prime spot at the moment. These two lines form. Lucas Blake has fallen back quite substantially as Matthew Searle ends up offline, goes into the corner way too deep. Buhaja on the inside line. They're going to nearly be 4 wide at the exit here. Jack Kelly-Reid will pull in behind Matthew Searle with Georgeson there as well. And you've got Boone Blake up a ton of positions. And he's off to a great start, plus 2 positions and behind Lewis Buhaja. So the inside line right now up positions, the outside line losing positions.
Indeed, as you would expect, as you can see from the width of the track there, It is so much longer to go round the outside. It is like an entirely different track. The lap times between the inside and outside line are absolutely monumentally different. Oh, we've got Schrodinger's NASCAR there. Ho, 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 ho. Scary time for Matthew Serrell and Wade Johnson. Not George Wadeson, of course, as George said earlier. It's Wade Johnson, much like Miami. He's not quite on the ball today as ever, George. And I'm going to bring that one up again because I am just that much of a nice guy.
Because of Bathurst, isn't it? It's because of Bathurst.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. You've got to love it. You've absolutely got to love it. And you've got to love the commitment here for Johnson. Hanging on the outside line. He all loses the back end there. It has a little bit of a wiggle. There's a lot of movement going on in the background, but it is still Serrell from Buhagiar, from Johnson, from Blake, from Kelly Reid. Who's now down to 5th, sorry, back up, down to 6th, sorry, it's Williams. Gets himself a tasty little overtake in the midfield. The top 3 looking to get a breakaway. Blake is doing his best to hold on to this lead pack there, but notably he's got some pace. We've seen it in practice. He needs to pull it out around the track here. Serrell still leading. Tilley on debut, dropped the position. Hutchins as well. Daniel down 2 spots, but that doesn't mean anything to the Hutchin brothers. They could both end up on the podium because, yeah, they've done it before. I'm sure they will do it again. And if they do, it'll be another glorious run from 10th and 11th place. Glorious run so far. As much as it pains me to say this, Lewis Buhagiar, what a start. He's had 6 laps up. It's almost like he's got extra motivation to get on the podium and get into the commentary box for the interview at the end of the race. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're going to find out at the end when I get it. Stinking, as we say here in Scotland. We're on board in the moment with Blake. He's got Kelly Reid, and I'm absolutely loving the liveries this week. Could not be more redneck for being down south in America. You've got to absolutely love it. The old school Budweiser on there, absolutely beautiful. Buhagiar and Johnson almost swapping places. In fact, they're having a battle there. Up in 2nd place. There's only 1,000 between them. They are side by side. Johnson again trying to hang it around the outside. Has he got the pace to go all the way around the outside? I tell you what, he's got a very good run on Buhagiar. He's used that slipstream coming on to the start-finish straight in air quotes, because there's absolutely nothing straight about it. Johnson and Buhagiar, they are swapping places. I tell you what, George, Johnson is fairly hanging in there and giving Buhagiar a run for his money, and they're bringing Blake right back into this. He's only half a second behind.
Yeah, he'll be happy about that is for sure. Boone Blake obviously has a lot of pace at this circuit. It's, oh, there we go. Schrodinger's NASCAR once again. Awkward moments, but luckily Lewis Buhagiar does seem to know what he's doing, and Georgeson is able to hold his line nicely there. Boone Blake, yeah, he done really, really well. His brother, of course, Lucas Blake, not in such a good situation. Down 4 positions at the moment. Boston, who's on debut at the moment, down 3 positions. Llewellyn down 2. So the back of the field really dominated by drivers who've lost out today. The front, with the start that they got, I mean, these guys all got a fantastic start. Only Matthew Serrell has been the one to not have a position, as we see a cutback move, a rare cutback move for Georgeton. Manages to stick it onto the inside line, and he's going to be hoping that with Serrell ahead and going onto the apex that he'll have a chance. They're going to take a little bit of contact through the corner. Great racing by these two. Buhagiar has to back out of it, and they'll be single file probably for the next lap here. But I do have to call out Matthew Serrell's pace. Qualifying pole by a few hundredths of a second, and now he's leading the race still. Everyone else around him has been up in positions with others losing out.
Indeed, yeah, he has been absolutely rock solid up in the front as the rest of the field jockey for position. Matthew Serrell has really put that qualifying pace to good use. And we can see he's got a good gap, half a second back to the rest of the field, who are absolutely still battling away. I did say that Blake was going to get brought back into this battle, and you can see he is now getting very close. He's just under that half second mark to the drivers ahead. We've got a couple of good little groups, and I did say if you get left behind here, it could be a long and lonely race. Hutchins and Tilley both finding that out at the moment, as we keep an eye on the podium battle. Oh, I tell you what, they've got a good run there across the start-finish line. Matthew Serrell could now find himself getting involved with Johnson. He doesn't care about reputation or qualifying time. He cares about the race win. He's put Lewis Bahadur absolutely under the sword, and he's got the move done. But this top three now find himself with less than a tenth and a half separating the three of them. He's going for it up the inside line. Wade Johnson, absolutely no messing about. Serrill's left the door open, and Johnson is going to go striding on through. And I tell you what, we could see Bahadur falling through as well as Serrill comes down onto the inside line. He went nice and high there to gather momentum as much as he could, which he needed across the start-finish line. For lap number 10, no safety car yet. I did say the first 10 to 12 would get a good idea how the drivers were going to get on with safety cars. None so far. That certainly does bode well for them. Doesn't bode so well for Tilly. He could do with something to help him catch up. He is left absolutely miles behind from the rest of the field. Solid group of four, being led still by Boone Blake, as Johnson and Bahadur swap positions again. Bahadur just temporarily nips to the car wash and then pops back out on track as Blake, Kelly, Reid Williams and Blake are the chasing pack at the minute, as Lewis Bahadur. Oh, everyone left the server. No, where's Matthew Serrill? He's down to third place. Matthew Serrill's tumbling down the order. He's in fourth, he's in fifth. Where's he gone? Well, he's massively lost pace there.
What's happened to him? So he's clearly had some sort of issue. We were just off on the wrong camera. From memory, that is entirely my fault. Let's hope he isn't. But there's a way for us to check. There won't be a way for us to check at this point, I don't think. But is he coming into the pits though? That's going to be the question. If he comes into the pits, then yeah, obviously something is wrong. But he's right off the pace, and he's going to end up with a car on the inside as well. That's very awkward if he does need a pit. He isn't coming into the pit this time, so he's sticking with it. Whatever the issue is, he is sticking with it. Maybe it is. I can't imagine it's tyres at this point.
No, I mean, again, unless he's come out on a set of fully scrubbed tyres, like he's accidentally maybe come out on his quali tyres, because the drivers will wring the neck out of the rubber that they've got on the rims during the qualifying session. But Matthew Serrill, wow, yeah, completely blown away by that, as he has been by the rest of the field. Lewis Bahadur doesn't need a second invitation. He is now a second ahead of Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely going for it. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is that he somehow made contact with the wall and it completely muted his pace. At the circuit, that's awkward that our race leader is going to be the one who's going to be jumping in and out of the network. So maybe Matthew Serrill has had some impact with the wall. It hasn't shown up on my accident screen at all. So if he has done that, it's been minor enough to not register, but major enough to chuck him down, you know, the order by now 8 positions. I mean, he's just about to be overtaken by Jason Hutchins. He'll be dead last within the next couple of laps, very, very easily. So a real shame for him, but Bahadur puts the foot down. Georgeson now in second place, followed by Jack Kelly Reid and Jared Williams, rocking same livery as Tom Williams usually does. Tom Williams not in the service today, unfortunately. But he's in contention right now because this is the battle for third place, essentially, or second place, in fact.
Yeah, it really has thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. And Johnson, who was on a charge in the opening few laps of the race, he now finds himself losing a bit of pace as we've got another car just nipping in and out of the server there. If anybody watches Doctor Who, the truck's going full TARDIS mode at the moment. They're just trying. Oh, that's a contact, and he's saved it. He's managed to drop onto the bottom line there. He's down onto this, the curtain, and that's going to be a big loss of pace there. Manages to hold on. A little puff of smoke from those rear tyres, but they'll live to fight another day. Williams, though, he's got a bit of a gap back to one of the Blakes. The other Blake, Boone, he is currently running in 6th position where he started. Still got Llewellyn just behind him, and he can see this group of 3 ahead of him. Tantalisingly close, but they're not going to be as tantalisingly close over the next few laps if he doesn't manage to close in. Beautiful on-board shots as we head through 3 and 4. We're going to go across the start-finish line. That's 15 laps done so far, and no safety cars. Matthew Serrill, though, again, if anyone is in the chat and knows what's happened to Matthew Serrill, please do feel free to pop info in the chat. We are always happy to be kept up to date or corrected as to what's going on if anyone has insider information. Matthew Serrill, what's going on there? Johnson all over the back of Williams as Lewis Blake tries his best to keep up with this group here, as Llewellyn and Boone Blake swap positions there for 6th and 7th as they're battling on. Johnson looks to girder his loins and catch back up to this group, but there's now a full spread. Lewis Bahagia, what a run he's had. He was in an entrenched in a battle for the opening 10 laps for 3rd place. He now finds himself a 2nd in the lead as Llewellyn and Blake swap positions again in the mid-pack with Johnson and Blake. This is a tantalising battle. We know that Johnson has got the strategy to hold on and take positions around here. He is going to have to be defending though, because that is one very quick Lewis Blake that is absolutely hunting him down at the moment. They all need to work together to start hunting down Jack Kelly-Reid and Lewis Bahagia. These two looking very quick indeed. Kelly-Reid back to where he qualified in 2nd. Lewis Bahagia up 7 places to take the lead. Again, Lewis, you're welcome for the extra motivation. You win the series or win any races, I'm taking full credit because I motivated you to do so. So there we go. 41.8 his lap time.
I was about to say, he's a man on a mission. I think John, you've certainly settled him into what that mission is. You've handed him the secret card that'll turn into a display and give you some 00 mission. And yeah, I think you might be in a bit of trouble here. He certainly put the gas down. I love to see it. I put you in an awkward place in an interview box. The problem is you're just you just can't be phased. You're in there. You're not even breaking a sweat. It's awkward as anything. He's not breaking a sweat. He's completely comfortable. No problem for John.
Oh, I know. Yeah, many problems ahead in the interview box. No, obviously. Wishing all the drivers the absolute best, but if Bahagia can finish in 4th, that'd be great. He is a 2nd in the lead though, and he's extending that gap lap on lap. It's now up to 1.1 with Kelly-Reid and Williams now separated by 1.4. Johnson, Blake still having that battle for 4th place as Boone Blake. Oh, there we go. Tilley and Serra, what has happened to Matthew Serra? He is now right at the back of the grid. He's dropped so far off. I said that it was going to be a long race for Tilley, unless he's decided to drop back to throw a lifeline from Tilley. And by throwing him a lifeline, I mean running wide and letting him through.
Yeah.
What is going on? He's just set the fastest lap of the race as well. What?
I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, let's look at the last lap time. I don't think that was... No, last lap time, 43.2 is his slowest man on track right now. But that was the best lap time. He did set the fastest lap of the race and then has now proceeded to become... I mean, he's gone from absolute first and qualifying pole to dead last, and he is finally coming into the pit box. There's only 2 things, John, I could think of. One is fuel. He's done a Lewis Bahagia, but he's done it at the beginning of the race instead of the end of the race. Or, and yes, I'm getting in on that joke now because it is funny. And the second one is hardware failure. He's had some sort of hardware issue, or there's been a setup or something, some configuration is completely mixed up. But, I mean, Bahagia's now passed him. He's a lap down already. So it's a complete disaster for Matthew Serra, who was on for... potentially a race win here. It could have been the qualifying pole and the race win. Would have been a fantastic day out for him. We are starting to see the field spread out a little bit. Bradley is just making his way now towards Llewellyn, who's right on the back of Georgeson. Jason Hutchins wants to get in on that, but can't at the moment. Boone Blake is not yet. Boone Blake is actually in the pits. Yes, Boone Blake is coming to the pits as well. It was weird, wasn't it? Both of them seemed to be going quite slow out on track.
Very weird. I can't get my head around what's going on there. Oh yeah, Blake in the pits as well. Yeah, so Blake in the pits, Serra in the pits. Very early as well, only 20 laps in. I know it's rough around on the tyres and the suspension in here, but I wouldn't have expected 20 laps to be where the drivers start coming in. So it's certainly going to be... Oh no, sorry, I was just checking Bahagia there. It did look like he was... coming at the pits, but he is not. With some beautiful... I love these front wheel cameras as he dips down onto the inside line. It's Austin, and he gets a good run on Llewellyn there and makes that move very easily indeed. Llewellyn's going to hang out wide, let the number 6 through, and he's going to drop back in that middle lane and try and get some slipstream. He's dropped down a bit too slowly though, and he's not quite going to get the slipstream he was hoping for. So that's Llewellyn and Austin separating out. But yeah, Blake and Serra in for early pits. I mean, they might even come back and win this race. We've maybe missed a trick here. I don't think we'll have, but I think Serra, hardware failure or some kind of problem with the fuels. As we see the mighty M&Ms, it's Hutchins and Hutchins working together once again. The two of them are down outside the top 10. They're moving their way back through the field, George. And these two, we've seen them before, so I'm going to call it now. One of these on the podium, just in case, so that I look like a genius at the end, because they've got previous for it. And with 50 laps still to go, and from what we've seen so far, I would certainly be hard pushed to bet against either of these two making their way back up on the podium, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, look, we know that anything can happen. Safety cars can come out, you know, at any particular time. You know, sometimes they come out really at a perfect time. Sometimes they come out at a really terrible time, John, as we well know from previous rounds, specifically last round. But these guys could easily take advantage of that. They're still on the lead lap at the end of the day. Only Boone and Matthew Searle are really the ones having to unlap themselves. That is Searle coming on through past these two chaps, getting himself back up, not onto the lead lap just yet, as he still needs to get up towards first Berger. I've been keeping an eye on the lap times. Look at that last lap time from both Boone Blake and Matthew Searle. Both back in the 40s. They're actually the fastest people on track. No doubt as a result, of course, of being on the fresh tyres. But does that indicate that it was some momentary problem? It's got to have been damage on the car. I think we have missed something critical on the cameras. Something has happened between the two of them. It is entirely possible that Matthew Searle has made a mistake, got into the barrier, and Boone Blake has followed him in. I couldn't see any discernible damage on either of the cars, but unless it's hardware failure, they've obviously either rectified that or it's been some sort of incident between the two that hasn't registered as an incident.
Yeah, I'm still really confused. As you say, their lap time's absolutely blistering now, a second and a half quicker than the rest of the field. I wonder if that'll motivate anyone to come into the pit. Well, okay, it's not going to motivate anyone to come into the pits right now, even though they're a second and a half quicker, because they still do have that gargantuan lead over the drivers that are currently setting that pace. But it'll certainly be a wake-up call to the drivers ahead of just what can be accomplished on those brand new tyres. As we can see, Boone Blake, he is just absolutely melting the rest of the field right now. It's not even a competition at the moment. He's got the Phantom car ahead of him, and it might as well be a Phantom because he's going to go blisteringly quickly past that. He's going to dive down to the inside line here just to show that is where he is going. He's going to use those fresher tyres, and he is going to tear past these cars like they're absolutely standing still. This is like GT3s versus GT4s at the moment, and it's Blake and Searle who are in the big guns on those fresh boots. Hutchins has taken note of what's going on behind him, and he's pulled into the pits just over a third of the way into the race. 27 laps in, no safety cars as yet, as Williams is still trying to catch up to Kelly Reid. Kelly Reid has got himself to within a second of Lewis Bahagia, so we'll see how those two get on in the battle. Williams and Blake still in third and fourth. Hutchins comes back out of the pits. He's on his way out of the pit exit. He's come back out behind Searle and Blake. Blake really did get a good run through the pits. He's 5 seconds ahead of Searle down at the back of the field. There's still going to be ones to watch. Kelly Reid is gaining time. He's gained another 10th on Bahagia. Williams is losing time to Lewis Blake, in fact, and they're only half a second apart as well. So all three podium positions massively in contention at the moment, with a third of the race firmly in the rear view mirror. Llewellyn and Austin on debut as well. George, having a good race. He sat right in the middle of the pack, and he has got Llewellyn, who we know to be a seasoned campaigner here in the ovals, behind him at the minute, half a second behind. So the two of them almost working together while still trying to overtake one another. But certainly Austin, as far as debuts go, this is a good opening third that he's had so far.
We've had a lot of road car drivers from the TRL series, the road series, come in and want to be part of the oval series, which is great to see. The more the merrier. Please come on in. And it is one of those things where I think there's a preconception that if you're fast on the road, you'll be fast at the ovals. You know, less corners, it's less technical, all that stuff. And they rapidly learn how wrong that is, as I have done over the last 6 rounds of this series. But I think, you know, to be debuting like this is fantastic work. Matthew Searle was obviously one of the top debuts that we've had, comes into the series for round 1. Dipping his toes in the water, went, yeah, I like this, and there is a lot more to it. Admitting that in chat, I think a number of times, or maybe quietly to friends, certainly. And now he's flourishing. But obviously, it's such a deep area of knowledge. It's going to take a season or two to really get your head around absolutely everything in this series and what it can throw to you. Because driving around by yourself, which is what we're seeing Bradley deal with at the moment, is well and good. But let's wait until the tires start to wear out. Let's wait until the fuel starts save needs to start happening. Let's wait until he's right in the middle of a 3-wide pack and the decision making that needs to be done during that period.
DJ, I'm just having a quick look through my database because there is a sim racer who is very famous. He does real life racing now as well. He recently tried over racing and his name has completely escaped me. Yeah, he did confirm.
I believe you were talking about Super GT.
James Baldwin.
Oh, James Baldwin did.
No, James Baldwin.
Okay, yeah.
James Baldwin did IndyCar oval racing and yeah, can confirm. He was confused. He actually got a black flag on the first lap because he overtook on the inside line before the checkered flag, before the green flag. He looked very confused. Because, yeah, the rule set, he didn't know he was supposed to, oh, yeah, but there's a big gap there. I'm just going to go for it. No, black flag, get in the pits. So, yeah, can confirm. It's a lot more difficult. And, yeah, James Baldwin, if you know sim racing, you know real life racing, you know James Baldwin. He's no slouch and he's no mug. And he just managed to scrape himself 6th place. So, and that was in the Indy cars as well. They're all the fun of the fair. All the fun of the fair up at the front. We're 33 laps deep already. We're fast approaching the halfway mark as Kelly Reid is fast approaching the rear bumper of Lewis Bahadur. We've also got Tilley and Hutchins down in 7th and 8th. They're having themselves a cracking little battle. Blake Searle, Hutchins and Georgeson all behind have all come into the pits. And George, talk about an Uber undercut. Let's look at where Blake and Searle are and let's look at where Georgeson is. He is at Georgeson, who was once battling for the podium as well. He's come out of the pits and he is dead last. Now he's going to have the type of pace that Blake and Searle had a few laps ago. Is he going to be able to catch back up? He is destroying the gap between himself and Jason Hutchins, while Daniel Hutchins still runs in 8th place. But Georgeson is going to be one to watch for the next few laps. Yet that 1:16 his out lap. We'll see what his first flying lap is, as Searle is already losing pace on his tyres.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you what a job Bahadur and Kelly Reid are doing up at the front managing their tyres, given that Searle's pace is already dropping down to the 41s, George. But these two up at the front here, no quarter given nor asked. This is a tantalising battle that we've got up at the top of the table here, and only 2 tenths between them. One of them needs to blink first and come at the pits, though, George. Who do we think it's going to be is the big question.
Yes, I'm just trying to hold back a laugh at the moment. A joke from John Oliver and last week tonight regarding the word tantalising and when it should not be used and by who. We're in green territory here, John. Don't worry, we're in green territory. Yeah, this is going to be fascinating. I'm also just looking at the pit time, which you can see there in the second column. 15 seconds, 16 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds on. They go through Boom Blake, but I don't think they've repaired any damages, John. I think you might be spot on. They may have just gone and said, look, we're going to use the maximum tyre. We don't care. We're going to do a 2-stopper. We're going to be so quick on that second stop that we're going to have the undercut of the century, which is essentially what we're seeing start happen now. A 41.2 from Hutchins, but as you can see, Georgeson, 40.8. So he's now the fastest man on the field currently with those nice fresh tyres, and he'll be pushing hard for it. Couldn't agree more that these two at the front, who've got Boom Blake in the middle of them at the moment, getting a little bit awkward for Kelly Reid, who's going to be delayed slightly in the attack that he's got on Buaja. The work that they're doing to maintain the tyres, there's this real subtle difference on the entry and the path and how much steering you're giving the car. You don't want to be going too hard on it because it'll save you tyres, but at the end of the day, is this going to cost them? Are they looking for a 1-stop? And that's what I think is happening here. It's the 1-stop versus 2-stop, John, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Give it. Oh, and there's Lewis Blake coming into the pit. So, yeah, bang on the halfway mark of the race. He's come in. There's Bahadur, takes a big dip down into the corner there. Boom Blake actually had a little bit of a bounce off the wall, so he has dropped off these two. Thankfully, that didn't interrupt the flow of Kelly Reid. Wow, speaking of the flow of Kelly Reid, look how quick he's going. There is Williams, Austin, Llewellyn and Tilley all into the pits. It's the 1-stoppers versus the 2-stoppers. And that is quite the bold strategy call by some of the drivers. There is an intense look. Oh, and there is a big puff of smoke at the pit entrance. Haha.
There
Did
is
someone say
indeed.
bumpy? Yep. Yeah, there's
Hmm.
even more stuff. Yeah, see what I mean, John?
Hey, you're about
Jamming
to
on
throw out the
those
tyres.
brakes at the last
Yeah.
second. It's
You,
fun.
you, you're just about to use
Yep.
the rest of the tyres. You might as well do it as long as you don't go for a spin. But yeah, that must have been Buerger coming into the pits a few moments ago, where he, or possibly Boone Blake, who's also coming in to the pits as well. So someone has slammed on the brakes, the stop pedal very, very hard, and nearly got it wrong. Cloud continues to. It's going to become a bit of a track hazard in a few moments' time, if I'm not mistaken. I'm getting some weird camera angles here. Let's go back to that. There we go. That's looking a lot better. And in comes our now race leader, Jack Kelly-Reid. What is going to happen here? Gets
See
it
what I mean
slowed
about-
down
Look
just.
at
Yeah. Well, there we go. There's Lucas Blake. He locks up as well on the entrance. Gee whiz. That's pretty terrifying. If I'm honest, I'm not surprised why I saw a few people hitting on the brakes at that point, going sideways and straight into the shadow realm. Let's see how Lewis Buerger is going to navigate the exit. Yeah, that's okay. That's not so bad.
By Matthew Serrell.
Oh, he has. Well, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look, advantage Buerger. He's on the fresh tires, right? But it is theoretically a strategy that could work. I mean, if Searle has the pace and wants to pit again, he's actually immediately losing pace as Georgeson decides it's time to put the foot down because there's Buerger. It's possible that they've got a secret little strategy cooking up here.
Indeed, yeah. Kelly-Reid still stationary in the pits. He has had a Herculean amount of time in the pits. There's cars departing left, right and centre. Kelly-Reid was going for the race. He was right up there for a race winning podium. He's now completely stationary. Has he been given some kind of stop-go penalty? No, we would have got a flag for that.
Not that we saw.
Whoa!
I mean,
Sorry, Matthew Serrell there, just lighting up the back tyres, having a little bit of a touch on the wall. All the pace in the world at the moment. Or he did when he came out of the pits, but those tyres are absolutely starting to feel the pain now after a whole lot of 40-second laps. He's now dropping back down into the 42s as Johnson and Bahagia and now battle for the lead. And Jack Kelly-Reid has spent an absolute lifetime in the pit box and is really going to struggle to catch back up. Yeah, he spent more time in the pits on one stop than some of the drivers are going to spend in combined over their two stops, George. That is obviously problematic when you're trying to get up at the front. So Matthew Serrell's had an issue at the start. Jack Kelly-Reid's had an issue on his way through the pits, unless he did pick up a penalty on the way into the pits just as he crossed the line. And not to stay stationary, but it's not often you get yourself a stop goer.
well, no, I mean, he's in the pits. He's in the
Fairly
pits.
egregiously break the rules.
Yeah, but he's in the pits again, and he's stopped, in fact,
back in.
before the pit lane. So he's out. That's it. Jack Kelly-Reid is reset to the pits, and that may be it for him. Boone Blake is out of this race. He will continue no further. But Jack Kelly-Reid, what a surprise there. Maybe it's hardware failure. Maybe something else has gone on. I'll keep an eye on the chat rooms, but if anyone can let us know what's happened to those two drivers, that would be absolutely brilliant, as we do see now Lewis Buerger trying to retake the lead from Georgeson. He's cleared Searle with relative ease, and on the fresher tyres as we barrel towards the 43rd lap of this race, currently on the 42nd, that is Buerger back in the lead. And my question really is now, what is Georgeson and Searle's strategy? Will they be pitting again and then going quickly? That's my suspicion, but I don't know if that'll work out for him. If Buerger can extend the stint right to the end of the race, which is going to be no problem for him at all. There's no way that they catch up outside of a safety car.
No, well, if they are going to come into the pits, they need to leave themselves at least 15 laps. So they need to come in more than 15 laps from the end so they can use that 1 second a lap advantage on the tyres. And even then, it's going to be an absolute Herculean push to get themselves past Bahagia. Bahagia is looking in very, very, very good shape at the minute. He is dropping Johnson behind him. Williams in third, and Serrell, as we can see, in fourth place. Williams, the quickest driver on track. Oh no, sorry, Lewis Blake was the quickest driver on that previous lap. Llewellyn down at the back, clocking in the 40s as well as he is fresh out the pits. Jack Kelly-Reid and Boone Blake both out of the race. Jack Kelly-Reid, he really does. It's a hero or a zero moment for Jack Kelly-Reid week in, week out, isn't it, George? Just such a mystery. He has shown such pace. He's led races, could have brought home the race wins. It just doesn't seem to quite work out for him. And that early exit here really is heartbreaking, because he really was giving Lewis Bahadur a run for his money. And that could have been, again, a tantalising battle to cross the line for the race win between the two of them. It's a battle that we have, unfortunately, though, been denied. And Bahadur, I don't think there's going to be any denying him now. 1.8 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, George, and that gap is growing exponentially at the minute.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we'll get some good views while this race does continue to heat up. 30 laps to go now in the overall series, round 6. We're back, of course, from our quote-unquote break round, our mid-season legacy round at Bathurst, where we saw all sorts of antics go on, and a real challenge for these drivers. So there's Blake now on Searle, so that's going to happen in a few moments' time. Yes, it is. And something about this track is just wearing out some of the drivers' tyres. They're not quite getting the technique they need to preserve the tyres, like we're seeing with the likes of Buerger, Blake, and a few others. But the difference in pit stops obviously playing into that significantly in this race. Going to be very important for the championship standings, especially heading into the latter part of this season. 4 rounds to go after this one, heading to Talladega next week. So it does mean that points gained at this point are going to be absolutely critical. I mean, Lewis Bahadur, seeing Blake down in 4th position is absolute good news for him. Lewis Bahadur currently 4th, with 3rd with Lucas Blake in 1st position, and they're separated by about 80 points. So this is looking good for Lewis Bahadur, and if he continues this run of form, I mean, there's no reason why he can't take this championship away from Lucas Blake in the next 4 rounds.
Yeah, indeed he could. If he keeps putting in these performances, especially with Blake finishing off the podium at the minute, and he is well adrift of the podium at the minute, as we can see, 4.5 seconds down as we are entering the final third of the race. So yeah, Bahadur on an absolute charge. He needs to win races to get himself in contention. That's exactly what he's looking to do at the moment. As Johnson is looking to defend at 2nd place, but as Williams is going to take the inside line, so he is going to take 2nd. It means Johnson is going to drop down and pull in behind him, use a bit of the slipstream there, as they do have Lewis Blake. Oh no, that's not Blake behind them. Is that Bahadur?
That is, if we bring up I'll bring up the battle box, it'll show us relative. That is Tilly.
Oh, it's Tilly down at the back of the field in 9th place. Right, okay, so he is hanging on at the back of these cars, getting a nice little slipstream along, which is, yeah, handy for him. But Williams and Johnson is the battle that we're watching for the lead. Lewis Bahadur is absolutely tearing away here. The one-stop strategy looks to be the prime strategy. If we do see other cars coming in for a 2nd stop, which I think we will, I'm not quite sure Searle and the gang want to be running over 50 laps on one set of tyres around here. Not the smoothest series of tarmac they're going to be running over. Certainly Talladega next week will be somewhere in the running for that award, and they're all going to be running in the running for awards next week if they make it to the end of that one. It's a super speedway stramash we are expecting, and it will be fun. 49 laps in, no safety cars on this one so far. Austin catching up to Jason Hutchins, who's got his way up to 6th place, and I'll tell you what, Austin, what a run he's got out. Did anyone say fresher tyres? I believe they did. Look how awkward the banking is on that start-finish straight. He just has a little clip of the wall, but sends it right round the outside. Very easily done, and that's Austin up to 6th place now, ahead of Jason Hutchins. Daniel Hutchins currently running in 8th position. We've got 26 laps left to go. We've got Lewis Bahadur, Williams and Johnson leading the way, and the podium looking pretty solid. And for all the tyre work that's going on throughout the race, you have to say, drivers like Bahadur, Williams, Johnson and Blake, some seriously consistent lap times they're managing to put in there. They're, oh no, never mind, I thought Bahadur came at the pitch there.
Yeah.
Not, he just teleported out the server for a moment.
Schrodinger's NASCAR. Yeah, yet again. Well, we do sort of half oval racing, half quantum physics experiments here. I think that was certainly the case with the safety car last week at our disposal. It was good fun. But yeah, I mean, look at the lap time that they pitted on. So lap 37 for Buerger, 36 for Williams. They're in the 41 still, but then you look back down to Matthew Searle. Lap 19 is when he came into the pits, and I don't know if he's trying to reach the end now, but as he said, the critical moment coming up for him in the next probably 9 laps or so. He's got to get at least 15 out of it. Austin going to be making an attack on him in a few moments' time. Austin's still in the 41s as well, whereas Searle really hasn't broken much out of the 43s at the moment. Whoa, big near moment there as Searle cuts back to the inside, catches Austin out. He'll have another go in a few moments' time. Still able to keep the pace down in this race is Bradley Austin, who's having a really good outing. First time here, potentially picking up P5 in a few moments' time. Ahead of him, of course, 10 seconds up the road, though, Lucas Blake, and that'll be a bit more of a challenge to get past Lucas, who is on the fresher set of tyres at the moment and catching rapidly up to the wearing tyres of George Waitson, who arguably similar thing with George Waitson and Kelly Reid. Both got incredible base god, but the consistency of the results hasn't really been there in the season.
Indeed, yeah, they've got the pace. It's just the results that haven't been quite going their way this season, and it's certainly something they're looking to rectify, or they're going to need to rectify as we plough our way through into the second half. And that was close to a bit of a tail end stepping out there, but it is Johnson as they go 3 wide. Why not? Because you're nearly at the end and it could kill your race. Doesn't bother them in the slightest. They're going to go 2 wide. Johnson ends up on the outside. He does like taking that outside line. Likes to preserve his tyres just a little bit more, and he's going to drop down in here and go for the undercut, or go for the cutback, sorry, I would think, into turn number 1. Yep, he's nice and wide there, boom, pulls in the line, and he's going to throw the car up the inside with that extra pace that he's got, and it really is close. Is there anything separating them? And there is. There is actually something between them. Ooh, now that's a wily move there by Blake. Takes that inside line very quickly indeed. And there is Searle and Hutchins of the Jason Hutchins coming into the pit. So that's them on their second stop. So they have run a 2-stop race. Matthew Searle, oh, he's just on a 54 and a 55 for him and Hutchins. That's really costing them pace as this podium battle continues to intensify. Very quick turnaround in the pits that time for Searle and for Hutchins. Yeah, lap 52 as Tilly goes firing on past. So yeah, 2-stop strategy there for Searle and the gang. They tried something different. Unfortunately, it's not worked out for them. He is going to make back a couple of spots, I think, with the fresher tyres that he's got, but he's certainly not going to be troubling anyone on the podium. Certainly no one at the moment troubling Lewis Bahajar. Again, it's almost like he's got some extra motivation to do well in these races now. Well done, Mr. Commentator, for last week. So Bahajar, the rest of the field are not going to be sending me Christmas cards after I've lit a fire under Lewis here. He is 4.5 seconds in the lead. Absolute dominance since he started qualified in, what, 8th place? Something absolutely crazy.
He was certainly not in the top 2, that's for sure. I believe he was.
No, he wasn't in the top 5 either.
Yeah, well, let's just check we'll check the gains real quick. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He started P8, and I guess the same could be said for Jared Williams here as well, up 10 positions in this race.
All about that strategy. All about that strategy. Blake, Johnson, and Austin, all where they started. Matthew Searle down 7 places. It's not often we'll formulate sentences like that. Llewellyn, he's down 3 as well. The Hutchins boys, both of them, 4 places gained between the 2 of them. So the Hutchins family are running well again. But Matthew Searle, he's just on a little tickle of the wall there. I think it's safe to say he's got the strategy wrong. I'm not sure which supercomputer told him that a 2-stop strategy around here would be quicker. I'd imagine that supercomputer will be swiftly receiving a technical tap from a hammer or 2 from Matthew Searle when he gets back out of the cockpit.
It's the ChatGPT strategy.
That's
How do I win an over race? It says go really fast in qualifying and then do a 2-stopper, and unfortunately maybe ruin your race. But you know, it doesn't give you that disclaimer when you plug that information in. But, I mean, this is just this is great. It's great to watch Matthew Searle pushing this car well beyond its limits. Even though he's on fresh tyres, I mean, there's nothing being held back. It's fantastic to watch, but yeah, from a strategy point of view, this is not the go. they were clearly able to make it to lap 37 or 36 on the tyres had they been looked after. But, I mean, we saw that rapid drop off of pace. He must have just cooked the tyres completely.
Yeah, he must have. We're going to have to get... I'm going to be straight in the chat after the race to find out. We will bring you an update next week at Talladega when we find out what befell Matthew Serrell. That almost rhymed. I did try my best there. He's just gone past Austin, who's just come out of the pits. Bahadja's in the pits.
Oh.
Luis Bahadja is in the pits for a second stop with 17 laps to go, George. Oh, it's a the ball. Have I got it now?
Wow. Okay, this is a huge shake-up. That puts Jared Williams for Phantom Sim Sports into the lead of this race, likely to be looking at a pit stop himself. So all of that ChatGPT 2 pit stop stuff maybe throw out the window. If everyone is on a 2-stop, it's just flat-out pace the Burge has been shown. Lucas Blake now in second position. Wade Georgeson. Wow, I'm never going to get that right, am I? He is in third position, still with Rob Tilley right behind him. He's found some good pace late in this race and maybe finding himself sitting a bit more comfortable than he had expected. Sixth position for him right now. Where is Bradley Austin? Is he coming for a second stop? I don't think he has. Bring up the pit stops graphic right now. He has. So Buerger on 2 stops, Searle, Austin, and Hutchins. You can still see Buerger has come out of the pits 20 seconds or so ahead of Matthew Searle. Will there be a pit stop though? Jared Williams, Lucas Blake, 15 laps to go. I mean, if you stay out there too long, you're going to be doing 44s and you will lose this race. Daniel Hutchins 20 seconds back, unfortunately, from Georgeson. So nothing that Daniel Hutchins will really be able to do. Oh, Jack Kelly confirming to us FPS died and couldn't continue. I'm sorry, guys. That's a real shame, mate. We're gutted. John especially gutted. We're both gutted, but John especially. He's a big fan of yours. As am I, but not as big as John. how do I play that one politically? How do I stay neutral? I can't.
I know. Yeah, Mr. Fanboy Raven over here, whereas George is just a hater. He's just a hater. That's fine. That's okay.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, John.
Indeed. Why so serious?
Yeah.
Hopefully we get that reference. But yeah, Matthew Searle. How was it out there, Jack? Had Lewis Cage. You did indeed. Yep, you had Lewis Bahadja absolutely running for the hills. That was an incredible battle that used to. The two of you were having up at the front of the field, and the pit stop strategies really were going to make it interesting. Jack, were you planning on coming in for a second stop?
Can
we ask that? Apologies. He's just had to back out the race. It's not even the end, and we're instantly interviewing him with 30 laps to go.
Look, it's for a greater purpose, all right? For the greater good, we need to understand what the strategy call is. Here it is today. 13 laps to go. Jared Williams, Lucas Blake, and Georgeson, and Hutchins, in fact, all not pitted. Buerger is catching rapidly up to the back of Daniel Hutchins in fourth position. But there is a 22-second gap between Buerger and Georgeson at the moment. So if those three at the top don't pit, well, they only have to hold on with a delta of 22 seconds. And if Buerger can't catch them up in that time, they will be the top three. And we won't be interviewing Lewis Buerger for this. But it depends on what the strategy call is. Also, have many Sanders in the chat as well as NYC. Welcome in. One of them saying, NYC saying, Boo Earns. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have Heath in here today. To show off that beautiful livery. Millie Sanders saying a Hutchins boy up to fourth. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And this, I mean, John, you know that thing about potentially being a genius? I'm not going to give it to you yet, but you're on for a bit of a Melbourne Cup win here. Your gamble's paying off a little bit.
It is indeed. Yep, the Hutchins brothers, you cannot rule them out in the slightest. And especially as he's about to get a bit of extra slipstream guidance from one Lewis Fresh Tyres. Got the bit between my teeth and got something to prove to that annoying Pommy commentator, Bahadja. That is his full middle name. Wade Georgeson with a meatball. Wade Georgeson with a meatball flag. His car is unable to continue. He is picked up. That doesn't look like a lot of damage.
It doesn't look like a lot of damage. It's not a... That's a lot of damage.
No, I was expecting to see the car with one wheel missing and... Oh, look at the brakes. Right, okay, he's got problems with steering.
Look on the right hand. Yeah, right-hand side of the car. It is dented like you wouldn't believe. and he can't even get it
Oh.
correctly into the pit box. So that's a costly pit stop there for George.
Wow.
He's taken himself right out of the running there, potentially. Berger has made his way on through, but just reading Jack Kelly in the chat here, saying, no, that would have been my only stop unless there was a safety car. Wow, the one stop is on, John.
Wow, so the one stop was on. Oh, Jack, you were on for the race when I predicted several rounds ago. I'm so sorry if I cursed the commentator during the entire season. I saw the pace that you had. You've got the strategy. Williams coming in for a second pit stop with 10 to go.
Oh.
He's going to drop by Bahadur. Bahadur is back on the podium. He is back grinning ear to ear. He's got the pommy commentator firmly in his sights. And he is coming for some Bathurst retribution. Although I don't know why it would be retribution. I called the yellow flag at exactly the perfect time for him. He should be grateful.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure he will.
I don't know
be,
what's happened there. Your fate seems to have reversed somewhat. It must be because you had the intention to throw him under the bus, and then he's actually dodged the bus, and you haven't realised for a couple of days, and he's come back to your office and said, "Hey, you missed. Try again later." So I think he's got your number on that one rather than anything else. He should be a bit more grateful. You helped him out massively at Bathurst, so
He really should.
Yeah. The gap here, Berger and
Look at
Blake,
the pace
23
difference, yeah.
seconds. Well, that's it. 42.4, John. It's a second a lap difference. We only have math is going to be difficult for me because I'm tired. 8 laps. Yes, thank you very much. I was getting there. Slowly, but eventually. 8 laps to go. It's not enough. 8 seconds. There's a 23-second gap. Lucas Blake, one of the only people out there now on a single stop. Tilly as well as Llewellyn. But this could be on for a race win for Lucas Blake.
Indeed, yeah, he's got himself a good gap. Does he need to come into pit? If he does come into pit, it's over. If he manages to hang on to those tyres, he does have the pace. He is a second a lap slower than Bahadur, but he's got a 22-second gap, and there's only 7 laps left, which, quick math, Bahadur can get to within, what, 12 seconds maybe?
Yeah, that'd be it.
That's going to be about it.
At this point, if I'm Lucas Blake, I'm thinking, well, let's just try our luck, and let's just go for it. I mean, if the tyres will last the last 7 laps, he will be on for his first race win as a race admin, as a racer as well in the Oval Series, his first race win of the season, and a big extension to his championship lead, which is currently only about 27 points or so. So that's going to elevate him massively. And yeah, Bahadur's potential to get up a little bit closer in the standings for the remainder of the season, starting to slip away ever so slightly. This is fantastic stuff, but it all comes down to what Lucas Blake is thinking in terms of the strategies. Daniel Hutchins, of course, as well. He's also on the one-stop strategy, but Garrett Williams fast behind him, and 6 seconds. That's shooting distance very soon.
Yes, it is indeed. Yeah, a second a lap difference there, but only 6 seconds on track with 6 laps left to go. Boone Blake, my apologies, everyone making the league. No, Boone.
No
driver
all,
makes the league worse.
No.
Get yourself involved. This is oval racing. It's the most intense, difficult racing discipline there is on the planet, bar none. I know. I've tried them all. This is, just horrendously difficult, Boone. Keep the chin up. You'll be winning races before you know it. I mean,
100%.
you're in good company. It's yourself and Jack Kelly Reid that are both in the pits. So, you know what I mean? Talent begets talent. And up at the front, the strategy, I mean, all the strategy calls as well have been absolutely fascinating. Georgeson down in 8th place, George. You knew exactly where I was going there. He is looking to get himself past one of the Hutchins. One of them on the podium, as predicted by the genius commentator. He's going to take full credit for his throw of the dice. As Georgeson throws the dice, he's on those quicker,
Don't roll the dice
massively quicker tyres, it appears, in Hutchins.
Yeah,
I
don't
know.
roll the dice too soon. Yeah, I know. You might have just cursed that one. A strategy curse. They're rare, but they happen. And yeah, I second completely what John said there, Boone. Please keep showing up. You are absolutely a pleasure to watch out there on track, as is everyone. Stay involved. Things do happen. It's NASCAR. It's oval racing. It's difficult. It's tough. It's rough. I've only been watching it now for 7 rounds. I absolutely love it, and I have a huge respect for what you guys do out there on track, regardless of what incidents do occur. So please stick with it. All good. No worries from this side. Things do happen. Georgeson, Right on the back of Matthew Searle now, who's struggling on pace. 44.5 last lap and a 40.9 for Georgeson. He is flying at the moment, as is Jared Williams, John. 3 seconds the gap now, and 1.1 seconds a lap faster. There's 3 laps left, so this is going to come down to the wire for third position. Can Daniel Hutchins hold on, or will Jared Williams get himself up onto the podium for the first time this season?
It's going to be an absolute battle for that final podium position. Williams closing in very handily at the moment. Wright, Georgeson and Searle both having this battle. Did expect that to be a potential podium battle between the two of them. Well off the podium at the minute, but it is Hutchins and Williams that are going to be battling for that podium position. And Blake looking to bring home a race win with 2 laps to go. He's rolled the dice, he's stayed out. Bahadur on the 2-stop strategy is up to 2nd place, but it is Blake and Hutchins. Only 2 of 4 drivers to go with a 1-stop strategy. 2 of the 4 drivers making it onto the podium. 2 of them just sneaking inside the top 10. So it just goes to show you, even getting the strategy call right, you still have to execute it perfectly. Hutchins and Tilly and Llewellyn not quite pulling off the 1-stop strategy, but certainly Blake and Hutchins getting it absolutely nailed on. They are, in some instances, I mean, Hutchins at the moment is almost 2 seconds a lap slower than Bahadur. But he is still quick, and he's a bit slower, than Williams behind him. Williams now within 0.7 of a second on the penultimate lap, George. It's going to be a grandstand finish for that final podium position. No grandstand up at the front, though. Blake and Bahadur. I mean, Blake 16 seconds ahead. That is an absolute monstrous gap as Williams is about to ruin Hutchins, and that's it. The crispy M&Ms are about to be a thing of the past on the podium as we do go on to the penultimate lap. It is Williams. He goes around the outside with a whole lot of momentum in the Phantom Simsport machine. The M&M's absolutely crushed behind him there, and Williams on the 2-stop strategy with those fresher tyres finds himself promoted onto the podium to throw another one of my predictions firmly under the bus. But we're on the last lap, George. There is the checkered flag, and what a win for Lewis Blake up at the front of the field. Incredible work on the single stop.
Absolutely incredible. He's coming through the last corner right now, and this is going to be it. He's going to see the checkered flag. First win of the season for Lucas Blake. Take a bow. He's been waiting for it. He's been on the podium once or twice in this season, but yet to take a full win. Now he does. Congratulations to Lucas Blake. Across the line, Buerger will take now, or that is Lucas Blake there, sorry. 2 cars, same colour. Lucas Blake takes the checkered flag. Buerger will be coming in a relatively distant second, 16 seconds or so. Is the gap between them. Jared Williams about another 16 seconds behind. And then, of course, Daniel Hutchins ever so close. And if we ever get another interview with Daniel Hutchins, I will be bringing up a strategy curse call from John. I will be mentioning that. Just you know, just preparing you for future races, because at some point Daniel Hutchins will return to the podium. We know how quick these guys are. There goes Jared Williams. There goes Daniel Hutchins. The rest of the field are all there and done. And Bradley Austin will take 5th position. Great stuff from the drivers today. Absolutely brilliant. We'll head over to our results in a moment's time. Great stuff from the drivers today. Really, really good. And let's take a little look at the final result of the session. And of course, Lucas Blake winning his first round of Season 1 at Auto Club. You can put that one in his notebook. Lewis Buerger, a relatively distant second, unfortunately, 15 seconds. And on the 2-stop strategy, whereas Lucas Blake was on the 1-stop strategy, that strategy didn't work out so much for Daniel Hutchins, but Jared Williams finds himself on the podium position. I believe one of his first podiums of the season as well. Bradley Austin on debut, 5th position. Great stuff. Georgeson in 6th position. Ended up with a meatball that cost him a lot today. Matthew Searle also on the 2-stop strategy. That didn't work either. Jason Hutchins in P8, followed by Rob Tilley on debut. And then Ryan Llewellyn, Jack Kelly-Reid, and Boone Blake. And of course, those last two in 11th and 12th, unfortunately not able to finish the race today. Gutted that that's the case. We'll get ourselves ready for a few interviews in a moment's time. John, maybe you can give us a little rundown of what we saw today at a very bumpy, very difficult, very tyre-consuming Auto Club.
Yeah, what we saw was 12 drivers that went out there and put on an absolute show. We saw 75 laps of the Auto Club without a safety car. We got very close. There was a couple of contacts. The cars nipping down onto the apron while avoiding the grass. So exceptional work by all involved to get themselves to the end without a safety car. But it was all about that strategy. Lewis Bahagia was looking absolutely nailed on from the win after starting in place. Very quickly got himself up to first. It looked like himself and Jack Kelly-Reid were going to be bringing home the bacon, but unfortunately the bacon roll was cut in Lewis Bahagia's favour. Kelly-Reid with some technical issues on his PC dropping out of the race, but Bahagia, what a drive by him, and Jared Williams as well, right at the death there on the last lap to get past Daniel Hutchins and deny him a podium by 2 seconds. So a split in the strategy, a split in some of the positions, but certainly some well-deserved podiums. I did say at the start, if you bring home a podium here, it's well-deserved, and Lewis Blake on that single-stop strategy getting it absolutely nailed on, and what a win that is for him to ignite the second half of his season.
Certainly is, yeah, agreed. Right, we're going to bring in some people for some interviews now, and we're going to start off with our race winner, first-time winner in the series as well. It is, of course, Lucas Blake. Lucas, welcome into the commentary box here, mate. Great to have you in here, and not just in the capacity of someone on the podium, but also in the capacity of a race winner. Yeah, must be stoked with that one out there today.
Well, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I feel like we've just kept getting really close this season, and we've just kept losing it in a variety of different ways. So it's really nice to finally get one.
Excellent. Yeah, we obviously came very close a number of times. Second position was the best result you had. But tell us a little bit about the one-stop strategy. And John will dive into the details on this one. But you were one of the only people out there, other than a couple, and then Jack Kelly-Reid, who couldn't finish the race due to FPS issues, who decided on the one-stop. What made you thought it was possible? Why did everyone think that it was a two-stop race today?
I think it mostly came down to fuel. I think the tires sucked for sure, and there was definitely a temptation to come in and take new tires. We saw a couple people do that, and it kind of looked like it was going to be a good strategy. It kind of looked like Boom was going to come out on top with that one for a little bit there, but I just decided to stick with the tires even though they were bad, and I think I did a little bit of fuel saving in that first stint, and I benefited from running in the draft, whereas like Lewis or Jack didn't really get to run in the draft because they were up front. So yeah, I mean, I kind of screwed my start, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise because I was back in the pack. I could use the draft, I could save some gas, and then that made I was one of the last cars to take that pit stop, so I was one of the only cars that was in position. I only had to do a little bit of fuel saving to make it to the end, so it just worked out great on strategy.
Excellent. I'll hand it to John for some questions.
Yes, Lucas, yeah, as far as this track goes, we've seen, just overly keen to jump in there on George. We've seen some interesting tracks so far. We've actually just seen Ryan Llewellyn in the chat. It's the worst pit entrance of the season. How sketchy is the pit entrance here at Auto Club, and did that have any bearing on you deciding to go for a one-stop strategy, i.e. avoid the pit entry as much as possible?
I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I mean, since the league's been going, I could try and count how many times I've messed up my pit entries or pit exits or something, but I think I'd run out of fingers. So it's definitely staying away from the pit lane is typically a recipe for success for me because I've lost a lot of races that way. It wasn't really something that was at the forefront of my mind during that race, but it's always kind of something I go in with, as I just want to minimize the amount of opportunities I have to make mistakes.
Yeah, an absolutely solid race. So at what point in the race did you start thinking to yourself, hang on a minute here, chaps, I could be on for a race win?
Well, I was in the comms channel with Lewis that whole time, and we were going back and forth, and he was debating trying to save fuel and go to the end on the one stop or coming in for the two stop, and I was like, well, I'm behind you, so I'm just gonna do whatever you do. And he was like, well, then I'm not gonna tell you what you do. And I was hoping he was gonna come in because I was kind of starting to get an idea that the one stop was the superior strategy there with maybe 20 or 15 to go, and then he came in and that was great for me, but then I was worried I wasn't going to be able to catch Jared, and I was worried I was going to come in second again. And when he came in, it was just like the Red Sea parted for me, and it was just, it was great news. I was really happy to see that because I don't think I was going to be able to catch him.
Yeah, no, it was a perfectly executed strategy, and yeah, good to hear a bit of back and forth between the drivers, bit of mind games as well. Of course, that's one of the more difficult tracks out of the way. We've got a super speedway coming up next, Lucas. It is my beloved Talladega. Back-to-back wins on the cards?
I highly doubt it. There's always a chance at a super speedway, and I love Talladega. It's a ton of fun, but I'm just not that good at it. I can never get the strategy right on the drafting tracks. So I'm gonna honestly, I've got the championship lead. Rest of the season is tracks I'm not that good at, so I'm just gonna try and play it safe and pick up as many points as I can, and hopefully hang on.
Excellent.
Yeah,
thank you very
sounds like
much.
a good strategy.
Yep. Sounds like a good strategy indeed.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lucas Blake, ladies and gentlemen. First time race winner in season 1. Great to see him on the podium, and we'll see you back for Talladega no matter what happens.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. We will now move on to our second place finisher, and an interview that John was hoping that may not have happened today, but it did. So maybe I'll throw you completely under the bus. No, I won't do that to you. Lewis, welcome into the chat. Thanks for having a chat with us today. Second position, 2 stops. The number 2, maybe not your favorite number today?
No, well, we're pretty quick on the new tyre and the old tyre. Just cannot get the field strategy right. I knew it was going to be very close towards the end. I was about half a lap short. Yeah, it just didn't roll our way. Leading the first half of the race, just burnt a bit too much fuel, and just the way it went.
Indeed. All right, I'm going to give you straight to John. Let's get this over with.
Indeed. Hello, Lewis. How are you? Congratulations on the podium. You are absolutely welcome for the extra motivation I gave you last week. But yeah, that was some pace you were showing. The one-stop strategy. It looked like it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be quite good, and then a couple of drivers came in for the 2. We were just speaking to Lucas there as well. It seemed like the decision to go to the 2-stop strategy was maybe a bit later on, one that you made later on in the race. So is that correct, or did you plan on the 2-stop before the start, or was this very much let's see how this one goes?
I'd done bugger all testing. I actually only brought the track last night. I'd done 10 laps, and I was like, righto, well, we'll play it by beer tomorrow, and jumped in for practice, and my iRacing was all messed up, and I didn't even do a lap in practice, and so I just went into the race, and when the tank was empty, to fill it up.
Right, okay. Wow, buys the track last night and manages to get himself on the podium. Even more annoying than usual, so thanks very much for that.
I love annoying
We've got, I mean, you are indeed. No, I'm only kidding. I'm just, yeah, I'm still absolutely devastated with that yellow flag last week. I'm going to be honest. But I deserve all the pelters that I get. And thank you for putting me in my place after the broadcast last week. That was firmly deserved. If only we had a transcript. We've got Talladega next week, Lewis. This one should be a bit easier to get the fuel right for because it is absolutely flat out round there. How are we feeling going into Talladega? Any plans for bringing you home the win here, or is this going to be a survive the super speedway and move on to next week?
I absolutely love Talladega. It's probably my most favourite track on iRacing. I actually seem to go half a ride at super speedways. I just always get taken out either coming into turn 4 or coming out of turn 4. So we'll see how we go.
Look at you becoming best friends. Oh, isn't that nice? Fantastic.
Until the broadcast ends, and he gets the nights out again.
It's like the movie, like Step Brothers or something. Did we just become best friends? Yep. Certainly did.
If I'm backwards on the, if I'm either on my head or backwards coming out of turn 4 next week, you'll know I told you so.
There you go. It's probably going to be one of the most accurate predictions that have come out of the commentary box so far because mine have been absolutely useless, quite frankly.
That's right. Oh, they're entertaining.
Yeah, I worked that out last week.
Fantastic. Lewis Burgett, thank you so much for jumping in and having a chat with us, mate. Good luck for Talladega when we return there in a week's time. And congratulations on second place.
Thanks, fellas.
Absolutely awesome and a great laugh as always. Next, we're going to be interviewing our third place finisher, and we'll bring up a replay for him as well. Jared, welcome into chat. It is great to have you in here. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first time in the interview booth for a podium position.
Yes, it is. Well, technically,
Fantastic.
it's supposed to be second.
Yes.
Tell you what,
yes.
I'll do that interview while George sorts the microphone.
There we go. We're sorting the microphone. on the
We
side. Yes,
touch
please
more
do. Please go
volume.
ahead.
Yes, Jared, congratulations on the win. Not the easiest course to be getting your first race win, and you got the strategy call absolutely spot on. How did you find the first half of the race, and was your pit strategy influenced by what was going on around you during the race, or did you have that firmly planted in your head? I'm going for the one stop, and we'll see what we get from there.
Yeah, I was going for the one stop, honestly.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I was going to fall 3 laps short on fuel when I came into pit.
So when you came in for the second stop, that was that few 3 laps short. Wow, so that second stop really did save the bacon. At what point did you realise, here, I'm on for the race win here, because you came back out. We've seen up to 2 seconds difference between old. Oh, third place, sorry. Yeah, when did you realise you were getting into third place, sorry? Third position. Yeah, I'm stealing Lucas Blake's race win here and giving Jared race wins. But there we go. So on the 2 stopper, when did you realise that the podium was on? Because as I was saying, there's a big difference between 2 seconds in some cases between the fresher and the older tyres.
I was still on old tyres when I came out. I was surprised I even caught the guy in front of me. I didn't change tyres, I just topped the fuel.
Wow. Nice. So how were the tyres towards the end of the race then? They must have been a little bit sketchy, were they? Or were you still
they were a little
feeling
sketchy.
pretty solid?
I was still feeling pretty solid. They were a little bit sketchy coming out of pit. But I think even on cold tyres, you're still sketchy.
Even on fresh tyres, it can still be sketchy around this course.
Yeah.
But yeah, a podium for yourself, first one of the season, and we've got the Talladega Super Speedway next week. We've got the second podium. My apologies. We've got the Super Speedway next week. We've heard from Lewis and Lucas. They're both big fans of that track. How are you feeling going into that one?
I can't wait. Hopefully I've got my little brother behind me again.
Indeed.
Yes. Yep, the brotherly team's doing well. Yourself and the Hutchins brothers have been doing well this season. It's good to see, the family connections doing well on course. So yeah, both of you looking forward to that one next week. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Fantastic.
It'll be good fun.
Nice.
I think it will be fun, and John's a big fan of Talladega, of course. Sounds like we've got a few fans of Talladega, which is great. Jared, congratulations, mate. Good haul of points there for yourself, and great to see Phantom up on the podium.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you very much. Jared Williams, third position there. Lewis Budger, second. Lucas Blake on his first race win, of course, here today. Yes, well, that is pretty much where we're going to be leaving it today, but that was quite an interesting round, and it has big implications, John, for what's coming up for us in the rest of the season.
Yeah, it really does. Going into the second half, that is some good results out there, and Lucas bringing home that race win is certainly going to do him well in the championship standings. Lewis Bahadur managing to get the car across the line with enough fuel in it this week, which is great to see. He brings home a podium and another. I know, surprise. Brings home a good haul of points in Williams as well. Daniel Hutchins as well, bringing home some more good points, finishing ahead of Georgeson and Serrell. So very good finish for Daniel Hutchins as well. Ryan Llewellyn down the order. Jack Kelly-Reid out. It's really going to hurt him going into the second half of the season. And it really is. These top 3 positions in the championship still very much up for grabs. All it takes is one yellow flag, and the entire season, somebody's entire season could be completely like Lewis Bahadur coming out of turn 4 at Talladega on its head.
Indeed. We eagerly await the first time we transit through turn 4 now at Talladega. Of course, that'll be a broadcast here on TrackSpotTV or the YouTube.com/@TrackSpotTV. Next week, same time, same place, of course, here at the Oval Series Season 1. Round 6 behind us now, round 7 ahead of us, and then, of course, only 4 rounds to go in this season. Lucas Blake putting a big haul of points onto his championship standings. Can anyone challenge him? We technically have 2 championships running. It's us in the commentary box for how many mistakes we can make in terms of our predictions. And of course, the actual championship where the drivers are competing for the win of the season. Going to be great to see you back there in 1 week's time. You've, of course, had myself, George Cooke, and John Wright here on TrackSpotTV. Make sure you join us the next time. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant race. Until then, we will say bye-bye and take care, stay safe, and see you for the next one.